Hey guys, Tom Seymour here. I just figured I'd do a little update. I haven't done. I've been working on a series called the $500 feature about some of the independent films I made. And the funny part is, I haven't gotten into VHS Massacre and VHS Massacre 2 yet, like to dissect how I made those. And I've been doing it because it's fun for me to do, and I think viewers can get something out of it because. We need more no-budget films out there. We need more no-budget independent filmmakers. And by no budget, I mean like you make a film for 10 grand or you make a doc for $500. This is pretty awesome. I mean, I'll say this is definitely bragging, but so New York Times did a article called Beyond the Algorithm, and it was a list of streaming gems, sort of hidden gems, films that maybe didn't initially make a big splash, but were very good and they're free on streaming. So it brought up VHS Massacre and VHS Massacre 2. The highlight of it is it's referring to both films. Both films are informative and enlightening, with copious amounts of commentary from people who make these movies and those who love them, right? So very positive. The first one, or the second one, VHS Massacre 2, they basically said that was a stronger doc, but the first one also they described as invaluable, so they liked that one too. I have very mixed feelings about this. If any of you all know what my deal is with the New York Times in the past, it hasn't always been the greatest. Our first 16 millimeter film, Everything Was Alone, they called it unfortunate backwash. The second time I was in the Times, it was positive, but it was for web video. We were some of the earliest YouTubers, this group of people called Black 20, and so we had multiple videos that hit over 1 million. I had one that hit 10 million. It was a weird mashup. It was called PG 300. But New York Times actually were complimentary about some of our shows. We had one called Network that had a lot of... That wasn't my show, but I was in it. But it was weird. It had a bunch of notable people in it. A bunch of famous people came through Black 20 before they were famous. Like Amy Schumer and Eric Andre and Aubrey Plaza. I got to direct her in a short, and a number of other people. I think Cole Hauser actually from Yellowstone came through there. But this was like in '07, But that was more for YouTube, sort of new media. So I hadn't really gotten, as far as movie reviews, I hadn't got a positive review from the New York Times literally in about 25 years, which is pretty crazy. So I'm definitely thankful for it. I mean, it's awesome. But it's funny, the review came out, and I guess it was actually in printed form as well. I really didn't see any bump in my social media. I didn't really see any extra friend request. I didn't see any boost in anything VHS Massacre based. And I'll talk to Trauma, but I don't know if viewership really went up all that much. I think probably 25 years ago, it could have been maybe life-altering, but now it's just like, your average YouTuber gets more, not your average YouTuber, the highest performing YouTubers get more views in an hour than probably the New York Times gets in a day. So it's just a really weird weird time in regard to media. But so that's what's new for me. I'm still working on the $500 feature series. I'm going to keep going with that. There's something there I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I was saying in my earlier videos, I pivoted away from straight up podcasting to doing videos. My main platform now is Instagram, because you can host videos, I think, up to an hour on there. So my videos mainly are on Instagram, but I also publish them on YouTube for archive purposes, and then on TikTok. There's people killing it on YouTube. I think it's amazing, some of these people cranking out like 3 videos a day and all this stuff. I'm just a tired dad, and I'm like a filmmaker, so the YouTube is like a YouTube, and creating videos and podcasts and stuff is secondary to what I really love, So it's hard for me to do it as much as some of the people do it. But it is strange, because I could post a video on one of my $500 feature videos on action films, and I can get 1,000 views on Instagram and TikTok, and then I go over to YouTube and it's like 40 views, 50 views, and I noticed the difference because I was part of that earliest YouTube movement when we were getting literally millions. So it definitely has changed, but I think you kind of gotta go where the traffic is, and so. Yeah, so mostly on YouTube, mostly on Instagram. So check me out over there. It's just called VHS Massacre, or VHS Massacres. I think that's my handle. And yeah, check me out over there. And then probably in the next week, I'll have another video out. And that's really about it. Yeah, if you're an independent filmmaker out there, more than ever, we really do need voices, and this is not political per se, but we need more voices from middle class people and lower class people and working class people. We need those movies because we just don't see them. You get some of that stuff on YouTube, but in regard to like straight up documentary and narrative, we need those stories more. We see a lot of stuff on the streaming sites, and there's, in my opinion, a pretty large disconnection from sort of the people who are supposed to be watching it, and so yeah, streaming sites should have micro budget categories for people who are not affluent, who just want to make movies and put them out there. And if they're really good, there should be a place for them. That's why I always push Trauma, because they're one of the oldest independent film distribution companies and film studios, and they do a lot of B movie stuff, which I like. I like B movie and exploitation stuff. So obviously they're not going to be able to put out everything, but they did have another label called Roan, and that was less B movie and more classic movies, So, but you need places like this, like Full Moon, and Trauma, and low budget stuff like that. I think there's a few others, Flix Fling, Pulp Movies. Midnight Movie Society, I think, is one. So it's that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're planning on a movie, hang in there. Do what you can, and keep going. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.